So these little bean sprouts might not look like much to most people, but these are really exciting to us because these are bean sprouts from dragon tongue beans. These are seeds that we got last year from Baker Creek. They sell a wide variety of heirloom type seeds, and we grew the plants last year and we really enjoyed the beans. And so these that are planted here are ones that we harvested from the beans that we grew from their seeds last year. So this is an heirloom variety, meaning that it will produce a true plant to what it was the previous season. So we're really excited to have a lot of these beans sprouting up. It's really a cool feeling to know that we saved all these seeds and then now they're coming up and there'll be a new generation of food for us this year. And we can do the same again next year and just keep propagating our own beans. One of the things that we work towards with the sustainability here is harvests that we can renew. It's one of the reasons we plant things like asparagus that comes back every year, and all of our strawberries over here that you can see are just going absolutely wild and crazy and need weeding really badly. But anything that we can do to produce food year after year after year from our plants or from the seeds of our plants is something that we think is really cool. Really allows you to move towards self-sufficiency, which is something we would love to get closer to. We don't really ever anticipate us being able to be fully self-sufficient. It's really hard in this climate. You can't really grow grains with the amount of space that we have here, but it allows us to be closer to that goal. Another thing that we've planted over here is a lot of our garlic, and we planted this garlic actually this spring. And normally when you plant garlic, you want to plant it in the fall because it requires a process of freezing or really cold temperatures at least to cause the bulb to split into the cloves that we know of as a standard head of garlic. Well, with being gone in Florida, we didn't really get around to using a lot of this garlic because we didn't know how long we would be gone and we didn't take a lot of it with us. But when we came back, some of this garlic had sprouted, and that does affect the flavor. It gives it a bitterness, and so we didn't really want to use a lot of this for cooking. But I did some research and I found out that you can actually plant this garlic just like you would in the fall, and then it will grow and get its stalks just like it normally would, and it'll grow a regular clove of garlic. It just won't split, which actually is okay because we did plant plenty of garlic last fall for our needs for this year. And then what this garlic is really good for this next fall is we can go ahead and plant it at normal spacing. You'll see I used pretty tight spacing on it here because we aren't expecting it to grow into bulbs. But this garlic will all be usable seed garlic for next year. So rather than throw it away because it had sprouted, we just went ahead and put it in the ground. So it does take up a little bit of space, but other than taking up some bed space, this garlic will sit here and grow, and then it'll produce for us next year, which is fantastic. And then over here we have our sprouts for our yellow summer squash. Really excited to see these guys come up. There's nothing that tastes like summer more than a summer squash mixed in with a recipe. We absolutely love it. And unfortunately, you can see this leaf here did belong to that plant there. That's probably definitely not gonna make it. So I did go ahead and replant a seed on that one so that hopefully we will get our 5 plants in this box. I like to do 5 of them in these boxes. It seems to work out really well. They don't seem to be overcrowded. They grow really nicely. And then over here we have 2 of them up, and we had another one that got broken off right over there in that corner. So I went ahead and replanted that. And I planted a couple extra seeds in this box because since we haven't seen them sprout yet, I'm a little worried that either a mouse ate them, or they were too deep, or they just were not a good seed, something like that. So we went ahead and replanted those. In our zucchini boxes, I've yet to get a single zucchini sprout. So yesterday I went ahead with a different pack of zucchini seeds. Maybe the ones we had were too old or defective, I don't know. But anyway, we went ahead and replanted this whole box and this whole box. If for some reason we then end up with 10 zucchinis per box, we'll just go ahead and keep the healthiest ones after a couple weeks. We'll let them grow up and see which ones look the best, but then we'll just go from there. And of course, inside the main garden, you will see the staple of spring. Our peas are starting to come up. They're always the first vegetable you get in the spring, and they can be planted right away as soon as the ground starts to get workable. They're also one of Ryan's absolute favorites, so generally we plant a ton of peas. We've gone ahead and planted them on every single box row all the way around the whole garden. They climb right up this fence and it works out great. I try and plant crops that need some shade in the areas in front of these boxes where the sun is coming from this side, because that'll provide some shade, in this case for some carrots and some lettuce. And I believe we put some beets in here also. And so that works out really well, planting your crops that way. You'll notice we have a board over the garden here. And that's actually over our carrot seeds. One of the things about carrot seeds is they really like to stay lightly moist the entire time during their germination. And something that really helps out with that is if you can just stick a board over the top of your carrot seeds after you plant them. You leave it there for about a week, week and a half, and all of a sudden when you pull it up, you're going to have a whole bunch of little carrot sprouts underneath. So this isn't a method that I have tried previously, but it's come really highly recommended from a few of our gardener friends. So we're giving it a shot this year. On the other side of the bed, over here, I went ahead and planted carrots our normal way, just sticking them in the dirt. And these are about 2 weeks ahead of those other ones. I planted these and then planted those later. You can see these are sprouting really nicely, and so are the weeds. The weeds are always a constant battle, especially in part because we use horse manure as one of our fertilizers, and so the horse manure does not kill, or well, the horse digestive system does not kill the weed seeds in the manure. So you do have to deal with more weeds when you use horse manure, but that's okay. It's what we've got available, and it is a really good fertilizer. I think that's about it for today's gardening. I'm hoping in another few days we'll have some stuff to show you down there in the big garden, because we do have that all tilled up and we got it planted with onions and potatoes and a bunch more green beans and corn, of course. So we didn't do great on corn last year. Hopefully this year's crop will be a little better. I'm trying 3 new varieties this year. But hopefully you enjoyed this little tour of the garden this morning. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.